I could have known, one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Times gone by, I've traded black dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. I took a walk one street over from my home, cracked and broken asphalt everywhere. I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I love today.
Good morning, Robertson County. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm Eugene Laverne. This is One Street Over. Wichita Ramblers singing us in. And oh my goodness, I got Barry Richards in the house this morning. So we got to talk about let's just get the elephant out of the room. We got the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival coming up third weekend in May.
That's right, the Friday night, May 19th, the Dan Kelly Junior Fiddle Contest with guitar, mandolin, banjo. And then on Saturday, it's all day bluegrass music. We're going to have more bands this year than we've ever had before.
Oh, wow.
We've already announced that, of course, Ridgetop Ramblers will be there.
Of course, the guys who sang us in.
Very excited to have Clearview coming back again.
Nice.
They've got a little bit different lineup than the last time they were there a few years ago. So, and I saw them play a couple weeks ago over at Granville, Tennessee.
Nice.
And that's going to be very exciting. We have some other bands that we'll be announcing this week, actually.
Oh, fun. So we were supposed to have Aaron Slayton here this morning, but his sister-in-law had her baby.
Oh.
And so his mother-in-law always helps with the kiddos on the mornings he comes in and does this. So he messaged me late yesterday. He goes, Lauren, I'm so sorry, but I can't be there because we got a new baby in the family. And of course, so, I mean, we'll try to maybe get him in here and it's sooner than later. I don't know. It may be the end of next month. We'll just see what his schedule is like because new baby in the family. I mean, it's just, that's going to take grandma's attention.
Priorities.
And so he needs his mother-in-law's help to be able to come in and do this. So with all that said, we do have Ryan Martin coming in at 7:30. They had the mayor and alderman meeting last night, so his routine is to always come in here at 7:30 to update us. But I had been wanting to reach out to Barry simply because I just want to publicly thank you for all the help with my class. It is, I keep telling everybody I'm smart enough to know what I don't know. And there's just little things in my mind all the time that I need to do. There's something Dr. Osborne asked me to do last week, and it hit me this morning. I'm like, I haven't done that yet. All these things. And so I'm just constantly, and we are building this audio video program.
Yeah.
And again, I'm smart enough to know what I do not know. And I've asked you to come help, and my friend Joey from Epiphany has come out, and just so many people have helped me to understand the equipment, because I was always the talent. Somebody pushed the buttons for me and told me what to do with the piece of equipment that they handed me.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning all these things, and I'm so excited to be in a job that I get to learn things that I'm fascinated by
That's
and
great.
interested in.
Yeah.
And so I'm very excited to build this and what we're going to do. But the drones really freaked me out when they brought drones in.
And you're putting them in the hands of students.
Yeah.
But, students these days, young people these days, they know technology.
You
Their
bet they do.
hand-eye coordination is developed completely different than ours was. So
It's weird because they game, and it's amazing. And so I think because I've watched my son Elijah's journey, and if you haven't heard, my son is an electrical engineer and builds drones down at an aerospace company. I'm so proud of him. I love bragging on my kids. My students, when I start talking about my sons, because all my sons have done very well.
they just roll their eyes back after a while.
You've got very successful children, and when you do, it's just really hard not to go, oh, have I told you about my
Let me
children?
tell you about our kids.
And they just go, Miss Vivi, we've heard this. And so anyway, but because I have watched his journey and his fascination with drones, I saw his early exposure to them when they first came out, and him crashing a few.
Yeah.
Crashed one into a waterfall. And because, this is when he was still, in high school, college. So, and he is the reason why they have a rule up at Tennessee Tech that you can't fly them on campus, because
okay.
one of his early, and I may have told you this, but he put like a ghost on one and flew it around campus. And he's got video of it, and it is fabulous. But guess what? You can't do that anymore. But yeah, that was my kid. That was my kid. And but because I've watched his journey and I've seen how persnickety they can be and how easy it is to crash them.
Yeah.
Then you bring those drones out to us. I don't know. It was before Christmas, wasn't it? Yes.
Yes, that's right. It was the
before
end of
Christmas.
last semester, and it's great to show the kids this is some
Yeah.
cool technology, but at the same time educate them. It's governed by federal law, and
Yes.
there are safety things, and here's the check boxes, and we put all those kids through the FAA's little safety training,
Right.
And they were excited. They were online
very
and
excited.
doing that very quickly. So they're ready to go.
And what was fascinating to me is how that they are GPS linked to where you have to really try hard to crash them. You have to try to crash these things.
I'm a high quality drone crasher, so don't
really?
think it can't be done.
Ooh,
You fly them enough, you will definitely crash a few. So.
Okay. Well, and see, so whenever they were talking about bringing us drones, I was so nervous because I said, please make sure you get ones like Barry has, because they
So they won't just take off and fly
Yes.
away. Yeah.
And so they did. They brought us two
Yeah,
that
it was
you
very-
came in
very
and helped
good
us get them
quality,
set
yeah.
up. Oh my goodness! So over the holidays, my son Elijah came in and I flew them in
Excellent.
our yard.
Great.
But very limited.
But
I'm
he
still
showed you
very-
the basics of it. That's
I'm
great.
still nervous. And so I talked to Dr. Kazi last week, and I was telling him about it. And I said, we're sitting where we could probably get you some drone footage now of the construction of the new school, of the Greenbrier Middle School Edition, and there's some land that they're interested in right next to the school. He's like, that'd be great. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah. And she called and said, "Can you come over?
you come over and supervise?"
Wednesday?" I said, "Well, funny you should ask about Wednesday. It's going to be at least
Yeah.
22 miles an hour. They make it up to 50 miles an hour."
Not good winds
So
for
not a good
today.
day for
So
today.
we're not going to do that. So Friday, again, just publicly, thank you.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Because while I think I want the students to be able to do it.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I've got one or two that have done some flying, and they look very confident at it, and very equipped to be able to do it. I would like for them to do as much of it as possible, but I'm not going to. I need somebody there just to supervise.
Yeah.
I need some supervision on this because this is new for me. And again, I'm smart enough to know what I do not know. So thank you,
No, glad
thank
to
you
help.
so much. And you mentioned as soon as you sit down. I tell people this when I do your ad. He's one of our full-time sponsors, him and Rebecca, and we appreciate so much you sponsoring our program. But I talk about all the things you do in the community, what you've done for Open Door, and the walkthrough tours and the different things that you've done for them, and just phenomenal. And we've got the dinner coming up a week
Yeah.
from Monday, and you said you're getting something together for them for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Third year that we've done that. So
Isn't that cool?
exciting.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm glad to help.
Because that's one of those programs that people had, being that I have dipped my toe in the water of politics, for some reason people still think I'm an authority on it. And they'll come to me, well, what can we do? What can we do to, save our country, to make a difference? And I look to the work we do down in Mexico, where we go in and change the community. We do it through the church, but we change the community. And then I say, well, and this is before I knew about Open Doors. Like, why can't we do that here? Well, we are through
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
Open Door, through CASA. There's so many things like that I just can't say enough about. Their community from the inside out, and Open Doors is just at the very core of it. And thank you. I mean, I just have such a passion for what they do, and good stuff. So, are you gonna? I guess you're gonna be there at the dinner.
That's my plan.
Yes. Okay.
I plan
know.
one day at a time.
I do understand, and I've been given a task, so I will be there.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
anyway, so Barry's here, and we've saved the date for the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival, and thank you again for all that you do to help me and so many in the community. But you are in real estate now full time. You came out of marketing background. You
Mm-hmm.
were vice president of a media marketing company for 17 years. Rebecca, I did not realize she had been in radiology. And
Yeah,
so that was
she-
so fascinating to me to hear that last time.
Yeah, absolutely. She was an X-ray tech for 10 years, and then
Wow.
she was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, and now she's exceeded both of those.
Well, yeah.
In real estate, it's going on 16 years
Wow.
with Exit there in White House.
Yeah.
So, and that's astonishing to a lot of people that she's been with one brokerage for all those years, and it's been a really key part of that White House community there. And since then, we've expanded a great deal, and we have big news. For Robertson County, we are going to be opening an office in Springfield this year.
Cool.
So very excited about that. Currently, we have offices in White House, Gallatin, and Portland. We've had those for a long time. In 2022, we opened an office on the Square in Franklin, Kentucky. Come by and see us
Right.
there. And we'll be opening a Springfield office later this year.
Do you know the location yet, or are you still acquiring office space?
I know. I'll just say
Okay,
no.
just say
I
yeah.
don't
You
know.
just not. It's
Yeah.
still not
Yeah,
finalized.
still up in the air,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha. Well, that's very cool, and
Yeah.
that's one thing too. I like telling you your stories because that if somebody is interested in a career change, or maybe you're getting close to retirement age, but you don't want to retire and you want to have
Yeah.
other things to do, and this is a perfect path, and Exit Realty can mentor you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing that's different about Exit. We do have an incentive program that
Mm-hmm.
incentivizes agents like myself to recruit, to find, and not just warm bodies, people
Right.
that are actually going to produce,
Yeah.
who are actually going to be able to serve the community. So, anybody with any kind of sales background is primed for that. But we offer the training. We'll help you with the education. We'll do all we can to get you started, but it is self-employment. It takes
bet.
a go-getter. It takes somebody who is motivated to use the tools we give them to go out. But it's been a great career for Rebecca, and I've enjoyed it a lot as well. So it is something to consider if you're thinking about a change in career, or if you're an established real estate agent, anywhere. Talk to us. Let me explain the program and how it works and how it might make a difference, because it literally will provide a retirement income for you.
That's cool.
So it's something I love to talk about, love to explain to people, and at the same time, we serve our community. We're helping people buy houses. I said just the other day, everybody's got to live somewhere, and we want to help them find a place that is great for them, especially if they can be making an investment, building equity for their own future.
Is it something that is expensive to step into?
You know, I had a conversation with a new or soon to be a new agent just the other day, and we were saying, you know, it's probably under $2,000 just to get the ball rolling for the classes you need to take, of course, and it's a commitment of time.
Sure.
For the licenses and for that sort of thing to get started. Our particular company has it set up where you're not going to be paying a monthly fee as you're getting your business started, and that is helpful to a lot of people to get the ball rolling without money continually trickling out of your pocket while you're getting your feet wet. So
you wouldn't even, so they have a way to pay it later or something?
No,
or you do have to have some up front.
No, well, you have to have money up front as far as the licenses and that sort of thing, but and every office is different.
Sure.
Every real estate office is different. Every company is different. But one thing we don't do is charge a monthly fee, you know, for using the copy machine, for the infrastructure, for the office manager, for the telephones and things like that. So that's one less bill that you're gonna have to be paying along the way. So.
Okay, very interesting, and I just think it's very intriguing. I've had other friends that have gone into real estate as a side thing, and then it ends up being full time.
Oh yeah,
and
we've had several
they love it. They think, I'm going to do this a little bit.
That's my path. Yeah.
Yeah, you were part time. It is so funny. I've always kind of thought of you and Rebecca as a team, but you actually are in competition with each other.
Competition.
And I think that's really funny. I had no idea until your last visit in here that y'all actually compete against each other. I was like, I want that listing. No, I want it. I can just see that. I think
we'll work together, but
sure.
In real estate, a team is like a legally defined thing. So we're not a team.
You're not legally defined as
We're
a
not
team.
legally defined as a
Except
team.
with the Lord. Right?
In the eyes of the Lord and
That's
the courts.
right. That's right. I love it. I love it. But I reached out to him because I wanted to very specifically look at some things, and this is something that I hear from people. Well, I've got property up there and nobody's even looking at it. And a lot of the times it's how you present it.
Oh yeah,
and because
absolutely.
you're a marketer, you come to the table with the experience to be able to say, your pictures are terrible. You need some new photographs. Have you thought about video? Those kinds of things. So
a lot of it too is just, and I encourage people to, even if you're just thinking about maybe selling your home, go ahead and start looking at it as if you were going to sell it. Think about it in those terms. And it's a really challenging thing, and not everybody can do it, but go out, get in your car, drive around the block, drive back to your house, and as you drive up, try to pretend it's not your house. Try to pretend you're seeing it for the first time.
Okay.
With, and look for the things that are going to jump out to a prospective buyer. Are there defects? Is there a pile of dirt in the yard? Is there a big crack going down through the brick? What are the things that catch your eye, either negative or positive? And what can you do to improve that curb appeal? Because we do a great job of marketing, and we do a great job of photography and videography and getting it out there. Our job is to get people to want to come to see your house. But once they get there in person, they're not going to look at any more photos. They're seeing it for real, and you've got to think how they're going to think. And then literally just take a tour as if you've never seen the house before. Walk through the front door. What's it look like? What's it smell like?
Oh, yeah.
What can, a lot of us are nose blind. If you've got animals in the house or kids in the house, those are things that need to be addressed. And maybe it's, if you're not getting ready to put your house in the market, you don't have to address them, but be aware of them. And what can you do, today that's going to benefit you down the road? If you're thinking about, investing in upgrades to your home, what are the ones that are going to make a difference? And we're happy to come look at your house, even if you're not getting ready to list, and say, hey, if you're going to be working on this house to get it ready, here are the things that I would recommend you spend money on that are going to improve the marketability of the house. One of the most common questions we get is from people that say, what upgrades are going to get me the most money? And that's a tricky question, because with the cost of materials and labor and just the general, cost of doing things, there's very little you can do to a house that's going to be a guaranteed return on that investment. Now, if you live in a house that maybe the kitchen hadn't been updated since the 80s or early 90s, then yeah, you probably could invest in new countertops or updating those cabinets or replacing those cabinets, that probably is going to make a difference. There's a lot of little things. If at our house, we're in the process of replacing some light fixtures because they're all that brass from where our house was built in 1995. And a lot of people will overlook that. They don't, they've lived there all that time. I was in a house, showing a house to some folks, and the woman walked in there, and she literally looked at the light fixture and said, "That's the most beautiful light fixture I've ever seen." And I thought, oh wow, that's the light fixture in my house that I'm getting ready to throw away. But to her, she loved it. But it was, literally anybody that looks at it is going to say, "Oh, that's kind of dated," if they've looked at any other houses.
Wow.
That's the other thing. When you're preparing your house to sell, sit down and get on Realtor.com, get on my website, and look at what your competition is, and look closely at the photos of what can they get for the same money. And how are they furnished, and what's going to appeal to people on that house versus mine. That can make a big difference. I've taken sellers out when they're preparing to list, and just to see a new construction down the street, so that they understand, for the same money that I'm expecting to get for my house, they can buy this. So where are we as far as value goes to the consumer? A lot of consumers are really they're really biased toward, things that are fresh and new, whether it's new construction or a complete remodel of a house. But there's a lot of stuff we can do to our existing homes. And there are a lot of people that like to have a home that's been there for some time, that's not so fresh that they don't know, how's it going to settle in a few years. So it makes a big difference. But there's a lot of things you can do, and a lot of things we encourage people to consider if they're thinking about buying their house or selling their house. But again, even if you're not going to do it, this spring, be looking at it, because you might say, "Hey, I'm going to need to invest in a new roof or some new siding." That's a great example, especially vinyl siding that's been there for a few decades. And you can be saving for those things and making plans for those things that are going to help with the marketability of your house. But the nice thing too is it is, I don't want to say sad, but it's interesting how some of our sellers will put a lot of money into a house in order to sell it, and when they do it, they go, "Wow, gosh, I wish I'd done this years ago."
I kind of want to stay.
Yeah, I kind of want to say.
And that's one of the things. I'm looking at my house. I'm not going anywhere, but my children are all in that place where none of them are in the house that they're going to stay in.
Yeah.
They're in transition. They're going to be here for so many years, and so they're constantly making improvements and doing things to their homes. And they'll come into mine. They're like, "Mom, you really need to this, and then I'll start looking. I'm like, they're right. These walls are really dark. I need to do something different. Yeah, those light fixtures are terrible. We took a picture on something. One of them said, "Look at that clutter. Oh my goodness." And I said, okay, I'm working on it a little bit at a time. But it's made me kind of look at things because looking at it through their eyes.
Yeah.
And I think if I do those things that they're talking about doing, I think I'm going to enjoy my home more.
Yeah. And that's the key part of it. Even, if you're not selling your house, what's going to allow you to enjoy it more and to get more use out of it? We remodeled one room, and now we use that room more than we had for years. We have an empty nest now. We had 2 kids, and we actually added on a room to the house years ago, and it was really necessary. And now what we've learned about these kids is they'll grow up and they'll move, and then you've got plenty of room again. So it's a little bit of belt tightening for a while, but make a house that. Make improvements that are going to benefit you in the short term,
right?
And then they might benefit you when you sell. But we're glad to come look at your house and say, "Hey, don't invest in this. That's not going to give you a return on investment. But yes, if you'll do X, Y, and Z, it's going to help with the value of your home. And then again, even if you don't sell, it'll be something you'll get to enjoy."
So that would be something that if somebody wants to just say, "I'm considering it."
And absolutely.
You can come out and just walk. That's what I tell people. We talk about the festival. Ever since y'all set the date for the festival, if I mention you, I tease it. And I said, yes, they'll sit around the table with you at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival, but they'll do that anytime.
Oh, yeah.
You just have to call them, and they'll make an appointment and come out and talk to you about the potential.
Absolutely. Because,
and what to expect.
A big part of real estate is trusting the person you're working with and
Right.
getting to know them. You know, we can hide behind the computer all we want, but we need to work face to face with people to some extent. So it's great to meet people and to talk to people and to, just share our insight. We got plenty of free information, and I'm glad to talk about, what's going to benefit you, and what's going on in the marketplace as well.
Absolutely. Give them the phone number where they can reach you.
can
We'll just make this a long commercial here.
Okay,
Go
that
ahead.
sounds good. You can call me at 615-504-7424. 615-504-7424. Just call me Barry. You can just Google Barry Richards exit. It'll pop right up as well. Or you can go to robertsoncounty.com, and that'll take you to our website.
And I tell them all the time that you guys, because you live up in Cross Plains, been there for over, how long have you been in Cross Plains now?
It's over 27 years.
27 years, because I
Yeah.
say over 20 years. Well, we're approaching 30 now,
Yeah,
for
we're getting
nearly
there.
30, I think we can say. But you also buy and sell surrounding counties, across the state line in Kentucky, all the things. So, I mean, you've talked to me about Nashville properties that y'all have dealt with.
Absolutely.
So it's so all over. It's not limited to Robertson, but that's probably your specialty, wouldn't you
Yeah,
say?
that's where we've lived for so long, and are involved in so many people, and we have so many agents. I was surprised when I was talking to the owner of our company the other day, because a lot of people, I'll tell people a lot of times we have over 100 agents, and
Oh, wow.
when I list a house, it's going to go first. As soon as it gets listed, it's going to those agents, because
Yeah.
we really want to work with each other. That benefits our company, but we work with every agent, across the region. But he said, yeah, we've got 130 agents. And I said,
Wow.
where did they come from?
That's amazing.
But that's the natural growth. We just added another agent to our Kentucky roster this week, and we've got several new agents coming on board right
Wow.
now. So it's,
there you go.
It's been interesting the last couple of years. A lot of people have gotten into real estate, and it's now's the time that's going to shake out the ones that didn't weren't able to put in the work to make it a career,
Right.
and are now going to kind of go back to wherever they were before, because the market's really changed. But it's not a bad time to get started if you're prepared to put in the elbow grease to get the traction you need to make it a career.
Absolutely. And so, too, you've got a list here. We're going to be out of
Yeah.
time so quickly. Oh, my goodness.
sure, yeah, we
you
are.
mentioned, you gave me this list of preventing foreclosures and cash offers. Let's look at that, 'cause
Yeah.
I think we've talked about preparing your house to sell. So
Yeah,
let's go ahead and
absolutely.
do that.
I put cash offers on there. There's still, you'll still see a lot of ads on TV, especially for, we can give you a cash offer. And in general, I'm going to tell you, those are legitimate situations. Some of those companies, though, really just use that as get a foot in the door to get into your house and tell you the exact same thing that I would tell you. If you want to get the most money, you need to pit competition against competition. So in other words, the way to get the most money is to list your house and let the marketplace decide
Right.
what it's worth. But if you're the kind of person who just, maybe your house is in a shape that you don't want to clean it out, you don't want to do any upgrades, and you just don't want any showings,
Yeah.
we can get you cash offers just like the folks that spend all their advertising money on TV spots. So
Okay.
don't hesitate to come to us. Get us under a listing agreement so that we can go and show to investors, here's the house that we have. Because, in a matter of minutes, I can get you a cash offer for your home, if that's your priority. But again, the way to get the most money is to let us market it. But everybody's situation is different. And we do have, situations where, especially with estates, Becky is a seniors real estate specialist. We've run into situations in the past couple of years where maybe a house needs to be cleaned out. We can work with you on that. We've got some resources along those lines, and because our goal is to get you the most money.
Right.
We literally make more money when you make more money. So
Right.
that's what our goal is going to be. So I don't want people to think, oh, I've got to call that guy I saw on TV if I want to get a cash offer. No, we can
You
do
can
the
do
same
that as
thing
well.
for you. And that's both working with national investors and local investors that we work with every day here in our community who are doing a great job of buying houses, and sometimes they're living in them, sometimes they're flipping them, sometimes they're renting them out. It varies, but they've got a business built around making real estate investments, and they're very savvy about what's going on in the community. They're not going to pull the rug out from under you at the end, like we've seen with some of the national investors that we've had to deal with. So.
Right. And you also mentioned on here, and we got to wrap it up because I just realized Ryan's assistant is the one that's coming in today, and I forgot that. But also, too, preventing foreclosures. Can you speak to that?
Real quick.
Yeah.
It's a real simple message.
Okay.
Anybody that is behind on their payments, they're worried about foreclosure, do not hesitate to reach out to me. We have had many situations where the bank is knocking at the door. The bank has even told them we're going to foreclose. We are able to work with the bank to, in most cases, stall the foreclosure, get the house sold, or find a route where you can stay in the house.
Okay.
So don't hesitate to reach out. Sadly, it has happened where people call and they've been putting it off, and they call and the auction is tomorrow. It literally has happened, and it's so sad because we know that if we had heard from them maybe 2 or 3 weeks earlier, we could have taken care of all that.
Wow.
So don't I know it's embarrassing, and if maybe you've got friends or family that find themselves in that situation, just tell them, call Barry and Becky, and we're going to be discreet about it. We're going to do what we have to do, but we're going to give you options. You don't have to lose all the fees that are going to be tied up if they have to sell your house in a foreclosure, and you're going to keep a foreclosure off your credit record.
Right.
So, and that's going to impact your ability to buy for years to come.
What about if it's a tax situation? I've heard of somebody that's dealing with a tax situation when they've been about 3 years behind in taxes, and they don't really know how to advise their family member.
Same thing.
Okay.
Do not hesitate to call.
Okay.
Your options may be more limited because I can't call the county and say, hey, will you take less taxes? That's not the same as calling a bank and say, will you take less money than they owe?
But they might be able to refinance it or
they
something
might be
like
able
that,
to refinance
get some cash.
it. Exactly.
Okay.
A lot of people have equity they don't even know about right now.
Okay. Well, I may be giving my friend your number.
Please do. I'm glad to talk to you.
Because it's just that when you brought that up, I was like, I just heard about that. So thank you so much.
No, it's great to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Soon.
Absolutely. I'll see you Friday.
Friday. It's on my calendar.
You're coming to my school. You're coming to help with me and the kiddos.
I'll be there.
We're flying drones Friday, weather permitting. You're going to get Dr. Causey that drone footage, I promise. So anyway, awesome. We're going to let Barry transition out, and I cannot remember our assistant city manager's name, but I saw her come in, and I was like, oh yeah, Ryan mentioned that. So we'll come in, and we will officially meet her in just a moment. But what is her name? Come on. You're the assistant city manager, right? I'm going to do an ad, and so just a second here, and we'll plug you. Oh, you're fine. Come on in. You're fine. And we're going to go ahead and let Barry make the transition out, and I'm going to talk to you about my friends Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. You need to get over there and see them. Let's check and see what kind of hours they are on. So you can go to Facebook, very quickly pull up Corbin Creek, and click on what their hours of operation are, and they keep this thing up to date. They're still on winter hours. We're in February, 10 to 4, Monday through Saturday, and on Sunday they're open from 1 to 4. And bottom line, if you have things that you need to know about your gardening situation, what you're going to do with your garden this year, now is the time to go and talk to Miss Amy before it's too late. And yeah, I know it's February, but if you're going to do cool weather vegetables, if you're going to do lettuces and things like that, they need to be in the ground right now. I don't know a lot, but I do know that. And also too, never too early to start tilling the soil, getting it ready to start planting for when we can put those tomatoes in the ground, those wonderful plants. The rule on that typically is after tax day. You can usually count on us not having a hard freeze, even though that has not been the case for a couple of the last few years. We've had late frost, but she can talk to you about how to deal with that. Brian Pooley comes in on Thursdays with United Way, and he said last year they did all of their bedding plants from Corbin Creek. Says it's absolutely the best garden they have ever had. Cannot recommend them enough. And also for local CBD, if you want to know about CBD products and find out about them from a Robertson County perspective, all the stuff that they sell is produced out of the plants that her brother Bill grows. Go and talk to Amy about that. I swear by it for my arthritis, but you can go and see him at 4920 Highway 161 in Springfield. Call her, 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185. Always let them know that U-Turn sent you, and thank them for sponsoring our little show. And Tillman is your last name, Miss Tillman. So pull that microphone to you. We've met
Good
before,
morning. We
haven't
have.
we? Yes. I reckon when you came in, I was like, I know her. Because you were, what was your position before this one? I forgot.
Public Affairs
Yes.
Coordinator.
Yes,
Yep.
you
In
were public-
2019, I was hired as the first Public Affairs Coordinator for the city. And
I'm gonna have you
then-
pull that right
sorry.
to you.
And then in March of 21, I was promoted to the Assistant City Manager after Gina Holt retired
Yeah.
and Ryan Martin took on the City Manager role. He promoted me to the Assistant City Manager. So I will be doing this for 2 years next month.
How
So-
fun.
Wow, it flies.
Isn't it fun? I
It
love
is.
it. I love it. And we've got such an amazing city here to work with. Do you just love it?
I do. I'm so proud to be a part of it and just thankful for the opportunity. So.
Well, and don't you have a background here? Did you tell me?
So
Talk to me. Just refresh my memory because I had forgotten.
So I've been in local government for about 12 years.
Okay.
I came to the city of Springfield after working for the city of Clarksville for about 10 years.
Right.
And my background there was parks and recreation. I was the marketing supervisor there for that time. And then, but my husband is from Robertson County. And so that
you
is, so about 10 years ago, I married him and he brought me to Robertson County. So, I was always looking to get closer to where my kids go to school. And
Sure.
so I was looking, was really just grateful for the opportunity to start as a public affairs coordinator, but even more so to expand my role with the city.
I love it. And it was just kind of I remember us talking about that now, that it was just really kind of a coming home thing for you.
It was great. I really appreciate.
I love it. And it's always so nice. And I knew there was a connection, and I forgot it was your husband, but that is very cool.
Yep, he's a Robertson County boy. So yeah.
So he is, where did you tell me he went to school?
He went to Joe Burns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And where are your kids?
They are Joe Burns now too.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You know, teaching in the school system and just seeing the camaraderie and that's my school, and I'm at Greenbrier, of course, and it's so interesting to watch that history, and it's just so much fun. So I'm so excited to have you in here. And Ryan mentioned that he was going to send you in, and I forgot. I do apologize.
That's okay.
But we just wanted to get an update on the mayor and alderman meeting, which happened last night. I was on social media and saw something pop up and said, join live. And I couldn't. I was somewhere else. But you guys have got those meetings out there where people can watch them.
We do. We really want to make sure that everyone has opportunity to see what's going on and really be transparent in that way. So we do stream those live every third Tuesday of the month. And then if you don't want to watch them live, you can always go to our YouTube channel and view them at your convenience. So we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to see those, can see the agenda on our website. But yeah, so last night was the meeting, and it opened up with the mayor presenting a proclamation to 4 community heroes. I don't know if you had heard about.
I had not.
Okay, so on January 8th, there were 2 girls in the water near Traverse Place.
I have heard
First
about
Park.
this,
And
but yes,
so,
go ahead.
Thankfully, these 4 bystanders had seen the girls in distress and were able to bring them to safety. So if it weren't for their, selfless actions, these 2 may not have, be with us today. So it was just a really nice, moment to have them there and honor, because they are true community heroes, and we just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge them as such. And it was a special moment. One of the girls, one of the survivors was there, so that was nice to see that kind of reunion happen. But as you can expect, it was pretty emotional in that moment.
Absolutely. And of course, now one of the things that kind of stood out to me when what you said is the fact that our mayor was there. I thought she was on her honeymoon.
She was there. She would not miss a meeting.
There you go. I love it. Yes,
But
we
yes,
saw,
congratulations
We
to her.
saw over the weekend that our sweet Mayor Schneider is now Mayor Schneider Williams. And I just think that's so funny. So she didn't miss a beat. She just
No,
got back to work.
Right back to work.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
That's great. We'll give her my
I will.
best. And
I
we're
will.
so excited for her
We are too.
and her new hubby. But so what else did you guys have going on?
So we had a few things. The board approved a request to purchase 2 EV fast chargers, and that is actually through a grant with the state. They were awarded $300,000 to put 2 EV fast chargers in the city of Springfield, which is huge. Only 12 other cities or entities were awarded that grant, so we're honored and excited to be a recipient of that. So you'll see at some
Where
point.
will they be? Do you know?
I believe one will be downtown, and then I can't remember where the other one. I think they were still working out some logistics.
A lot of
as
the
far as
times
location.
libraries end up having them.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just wondering, are they thinking about putting it at the library, or
I'm not sure about the library, and
Okay.
I'm sure that probably came up. I do think City Hall was one of them, or near the center, just somewhere in that downtown vicinity. So we're
It makes sense. Yeah.
you know, easily accessible to majority of folks. So, but we're excited to have that come aboard. So that was approved last night. Let's see what else. Second and final reading for an ordinance rezoning 2 parcels, John L. Patterson and Bransford Drive, and that is, as we all know, the Bransford Community Center. So that
Yes.
project is getting underway. So that rezone is officially passed on final reading. And then a new thing that was brought to the board on first reading was a rezone on Curtiswood Lane east of South Mead subdivision, and that's to R7 to MRO, and that is along Batson Parkway. So, you know, we did that big groundbreaking. We were able to actually move forward on that road connection, and so you can see rooftops are coming. So this is a development, about 350 plus single family flats. It's a mix of different residences, and that approved on first reading, so we'll see more of that to come.
Right, and it has to go through 2, right?
2 readings,
2
yep.
readings.
No,
So we'll hear about that next month as well, because I'm assuming it'll be on the table again next
It
month.
will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So very good. And we're talking with Candace Tillman. She is our assistant city manager. Ryan Martin he had a conflict, so he mentioned when he was in last time that he was going to send you in. And I'm so glad he did, because we met when you were the public affairs person, and now sliding into this position. So how are you liking it? Are you loving it? I mean, that's just an obvious question, right?
Yeah, no, I do
So-
love it. I love waking up and coming to work every day. I know
Isn't
that
that-
sounds
that's great.
cliche, but there's not a day that I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I love the people. Robertson County has been so welcoming, in Springfield too. So it's a great place to work, and I really can't say enough good things about our leadership, and
Yeah.
so
It's good. And you mentioned a great place to work. Typically, there are job openings and things like that. Do you know anything about that? Or
Yeah.
do you have some specific things that you have open at the moment that you're
great
hoping
question.
to fill?
I don't know off the top of my head, and I'm so sorry.
Oh, no,
But
no,
if you
I
go
didn't,
to-
I didn't prepare you for that at all.
Springfield,
But I just, since you mentioned work,
Yes.
everybody's hiring. I've actually got the website pulled up
great.
here. Let me see if I can find out whether you've got some job openings, employment opportunities. That's the thing. If you go to the website, go to employment opportunities and see what's going on around town, and that is the best way to find out what is happening. Is if you're looking for some kind of a job opening, and that was the thing with me. I really wanted to work in this area. And so I just started watching. And of course I ended up working in the schools, but look around at the things that are coming up. And right now you've got crew worker on here, job openings for a crew worker for public works, and police officer openings. And we're talking police officers, guys, rate of pay $42,000 to $58,000 a year. The crew worker can be anywhere from, it says, starting in the 30s and going up to 46. So I mean, there's some good stuff here that if you're interested in working for a really good group here in the city, got some job openings for you there as well. And she can testify to that as
Absolutely.
a good place to work.
It's a great workplace. And we were so excited to be able to partner with Robertson County government and Robertson County schools to add a new employee health clinic. And so we opened that not too long ago. And that's just another added benefit. It's, you don't have to be on the city's insurance, and independent of our insurance. So, and it's also for all dependents and spouses. And so that's just a really great thing to have something that they can go to, walk in, and be seen.
Well, and they ended up having to, because we had some
Relocate.
Yeah. Are they still relocated?
We have relocated, for temporary. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
still doing repairs on the other facility.
Because during our polar vortex that we had, I guess that's what they call it, during the Christmas season, the water lines broke. That's something Ryan and I talked about, is the loss of water during that time from the water line breaks. And it was just astounding. And that was one of the places that had a water line break that had some water damage, so they're having to make those repairs.
They are. Yeah.
But where did we temporarily move? I've been fortunate. I have been very well. I can't believe running around all these little petri dishes at school that I have stayed pretty well. But I also got vaccinated. I got my flu shots and all those things, so I think that has helped. But I haven't had to go to the clinic because I qualify since I work for the school system. And so where exactly is it? They've mentioned it, but I haven't registered with me.
At Shine's old building. So
Say that again?
At Shine's Pediatrics old building.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. So,
yes.
and I can't think of what it was actually called.
But
before
yes,
that,
Shine's the old pediatric building, and so you can go there if you're working for the city, if you work for the school district, if you're a county employee. It's a fabulous program, and just to be able to have that convenience is really wonderful, and it's helped. Have you had to go, or have you've been
Children.
well?
I have 4 children, so you know we've been there.
Oh my gosh! Of course, you've got 4 kids.
I do.
I'm
Yeah.
I've got 4
That's
as
right.
well,
You-
and they grow up quick. I'm all boys.
2
girls.
boys, 2 girls.
2 boys. Oh, you've
Yeah.
got the mix. There
Yeah.
you go. That's fun.
That's great.
I just love this. This is why I love having people in from the city, because we get to know a little bit more about them and see what's going on. So how old are your kids?
They range from one's 5, 8, 9, 15.
You're in the mix.
Yeah,
You're in the
they're
middle of
all
it.
over.
Oh, yeah. That's fun times. Fun times. Just enjoy it thoroughly, because it goes like that. And but it's fun. And we're talking with Candace Tillman. She is our assistant city manager. If you have any questions, you can throw those up in comments. Talking about the mayor and alderman meeting last night. If you're typical of what is typical of these meetings, a lot of them are rather short these days because it's in the winter. There's not as much going on. Did you have anything else on the agenda?
Yeah, we actually did a budget amendment. I just wanted to throw this out here because just wanted to thank the church that has been so gracious in a partnership with us. They the budget amendment was so that we could add more money for Freedom Fest, because they are not going to be sponsoring in that way. They're partnering us, coming alongside us for other things. So what that looks like, we're going to have to get sponsorships. We've upped the budget so that we can afford they were so gracious in providing all of the entertainment, the stage, all of that. So that was a big in-kind donation. So Freedom Fest will be happening again this year. That's the city's Independence Day celebration, carnival rides.
So let me clarify
go
something
ahead.
there. I'm not sure I fully understood. So the church that's been sponsoring it is no longer going to sponsor, and you're going to be doing sponsorships.
We are hoping to have other sponsors come alongside us.
So
yes.
are they still working with it?
They're going to work with us in just a different capacity.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they also do, like, they were a
they
big
do
part
so
of our
much.
basketball
Yeah.
program. They did a big, I think they had a big, I don't know what they call
Which
it.
church
last
are we
night.
talking about? I don't want to say because I'm afraid I'll say the wrong one.
Grace Baptist.
Grace Baptist, what I thought, but I
Yes.
wasn't sure. So Grace Baptist has come along and done so much out of the fairgrounds. And just a wonderful program, and the way they had it all set up last year. So that is the goal, to
do
that again.
So if you're
but we
looking
need
to
some
get
sponsors.
involved, and if you want to be a part of it, we'll have some more information to come. But that will happen, I think, the Saturday before 4th of July. I think that's
Okay.
the 2nd, I believe.
Yeah,
But
4th
back
of
at the
July
fair-
happens on Tuesday, I think, this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
So-
think. But so
can't
it'll be,
keep up. Yeah, it'll be that Saturday
it'll be a
before.
day or two before, and that way you can do other things. But that's wonderful. And
Yeah.
have you tossed around some suggestions of the entertainment? Have y'all?
We're working on the
Yes, it's-
entertainment.
yes,
We're not there yet. We
yeah.
had to do this first so
Sure,
we can
sure.
pay for the entertainment.
Of course.
But that will be, stay tuned, because that is something, as soon as we have any kind of,
I
commitment.
always like to get the scoop.
Yeah.
though,
No,
I'm like,
hey,
if
when
you
we
have
know
any
it,
idea.
Hey, tell us who you want to hear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. let us know. We would love to hear that.
It's
So.
always wonderful, and it's just a great community event, ran so well, and so that's exciting that that's there. When you started mentioning church though and money, I got in my mind about Willow Oak. Do y'all have any? Are y'all having? Because I know the church donated the building to Willow Oak. Is any of that come across your agenda in any way, or is that all just privately done?
That is privately done.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
We're just so thankful for that.
Isn't that fabulous?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. We're so. I've got to get Lacey and Musetta in here just to talk to them because they've made the move, is my understanding, and it's so important to our city. But it is so wonderful that it can be done independently.
Yeah.
That's not something that has to come across your table.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
We're talking with Candace Tillman. She is our assistant city manager. Ryan's out goofing off. That's what he's doing. He's goofing off. He's not doing
He's
anything
actually
today.
leading the day at Leadership Robertson County.
Yes,
so.
of course. He is busy. He is busy as always. I'm teasing Ryan. I'm just kidding. We're going to pause for a second. We're going to talk about our sponsor, Cumberland Connect. If you are a Cumberland Electric customer, oh my goodness, congratulations. You're going to be able to have high-speed internet. This is a very big deal for those of us who have not had high-speed internet because it was a long time for me. When I was doing traffic, I don't know, the technology was different. I had a loop line. I had all the things, and it worked out. It worked great for what it was. But then when we started needing to have the cables ran, and I'm trying to think what this is called. I can't remember what fiber. When we started needing fiber, it made all the difference in the world, and you could not compete if you didn't have it. And because I live kind of off the beaten path. I live on 40 acres on the edge of the city, and there's nothing else out there. So you get past the wastewater plant, and it's just us. So there was no incentive for Comcast or any of the cable companies to run cable to me. They're like, well, we'll run it if you want to pay for it. Are you kidding me? So when it became a utility, and I remember so well being on the campaign trail with Governor Lee, and he was really, when we were out there in some of the areas that had no connectivity, he's like, we got to fix this. And so I don't really know how all that happened, but I do know it happened. And it has become a utility. People are recognizing it as a utility. Cumberland Electric has done so, and they're doing a beautiful job with Cumberland Connect. If you're a Cumberland Electric customer, you are going to have access to high-speed internet. And if you're somebody that's financially in a little bit of a bind, then they can help you as well, because there is an affordable connectivity program providing qualifying households with monthly credit to help pay for internet services. And if eligible, you could receive a credit of up to $30 per month toward broadband service. Call them. Just give them a call and talk to them. 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362. If you're somebody that you didn't think you could afford internet and they're already in your neighborhood, call them. They may well be, and you can get the ball rolling. You can get connected. Your kids need it for their schoolwork. You may need it, so you have the option of working from home, because if you do not have good internet, you cannot work from home. That's a thing. But you can go to cumberlandconnect.org and find out more. Put your address in and see just what the availability is. You might have a gig in your house, just like I do. My kids, we had family day on Sunday. My kids walked in, and first thing my son Elijah did, the engineer, he walks in and he does a speed test. And he goes, "Oh my goodness!" I said, "Isn't it great?" But it is wonderful, and we're so thrilled that Cumberland Connect is a full-time sponsor now of One Street Over. So when you reach out to them, let them know U-Turn sent you. Talking with my friend Candace Tillman. She is the assistant city manager at Springfield City, and all the things from the mayor and alderman meeting. That's what she's bringing to the table today. So what else did you have for us?
That was about it.
That's okay. It was a short meeting, and we get that a lot. That they come in, and I quite expect that I'm going to hear the same thing from Mayor Billy Vogel when he comes in on Tuesday, because we're just at that time of the year where a lot of the work hasn't fired back up yet, and people are just kind of figuring out what they're doing. They're putting their budgets together, all of those things. That is the time. So this would be a time that. And I love how I've talked to Ryan about this in the past. Things like the dog park. Things like the skateboard park. Those were ideas from somebody, a citizen, that came to the city and said, we want to do this. And you were able to work with clubs and nonprofits and all the things to get those grants. I think there was a grant involved in the dog park, if I'm not mistaken. And so people see these things and are like, why don't I want my tax dollars paying for that? Well, they're not. they're not, because a lot of the times it is a grant that comes through, and then everybody will say, well, in a roundabout way, it's not like, stop. But it's working with all the different resources that you have and bringing them to the table. And so if you have something that you think, I've got an idea, this is something that I want to do, they can reach out to you guys.
Please, absolutely. Disc golf, that was another
Yes,
partnership.
yes, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, that was, they came to Terry Martin and our parks director and said, hey, we want disc golf here. And well, let's make that happen. And so we have really open, receptive staff at that.
It's fun.
Yeah.
The young man that did that as well, I had him in one day just to talk to
Just
him.
to decide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he was hysterical. And he was just like, yeah, I saw this park and we needed it. And it kind of seems like the skate park might have been the same way. I don't know.
Yeah,
But and that's, do you have an update on that? Do you? I know, and I didn't ask you to bring that to me, but
That's
what
okay.
can you
Yeah,
recall?
and that's a partnership with Kiwanis.
Right.
And I know that they've reached an agreement, and so with Hunger Skate Parks to build it. So I'm not
It's
sure.
moving forward,
Yeah,
guys.
it's coming. So
It's
just
coming.
stay tuned. There, it's happening. That's going to be at Garner Street Park.
Very exciting.
That is very exciting. I think we're excited to have another amenity.
I love it. And and I'm gonna just jump off on a completely different subject here, and not a fun one that you like to talk about, but what do y'all have for emergency planning and things like that? And the reason why this comes to mind is, and again, I did not pose this question to her prior to, so she may not have an answer for me. I'm from Mayfield, the town that got wiped, one of the towns, one of the many that got wiped out by the tornado. I was there this past weekend, and seeing it right after the destruction, and now seeing it completely wiped out, because I think it was almost easier to see it right after and still seeing the structures that I recognized in part, to go in there now and it's just all gone. The entire downtown square, the courthouse, the entire historic district, it's flattened. And so I'm speaking from, it can happen. It can happen, guys. And like that. And so, and I've had this conversation, I think, with Ryan. I've had this conversation with Mayor Vogel. What do we do? What do we have in place in the event that the thing we don't want to talk about, we have to talk about?
Plans are underway, and we're updating them. And
Okay.
so staff, we get together very often, and
Right.
we do, all department heads
Right.
get together, and there's actual emergency response plan, and that's being updated as we speak. So
Okay.
it's not something that we are waiting to happen and
Sure.
know what to do. We want to be prepared because it can be us, and we
You bet.
recognize that. And so, planning is always on the forefront and something we're actively doing.
And I think, we had the weather right now. It's like 70 degrees outside. It is so crazy.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but when you have that cold and that hot hit, that's when those kinds of things happen. And so while we love the warm weather, we watch the cold fronts coming back in and they start knocking up against each other, and you realize what can happen.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they sent us home from school the other day. It was
The threat.
yeah, and they got it was so funny. My husband is, works with the transportation, and he had to hop on a bus and drive a bus home. And he says, they did such a good job. Mr. Heinerman and Dr. Causey did such a good job, the timing on it. He goes, the last kid got off the bus I was driving, and then the storm hit.
Wow.
And he goes, they timed it perfectly. And the reason why they did that, I think, is because of what happened last year. And they know it can happen. And we want to keep these kids safe. We want to keep everybody safe. And you have to be thinking about the thing you don't want to think about.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know. And so, but I've had that conversation with all the other authorities. And I just, from a,
Citizen and a...
yeah, from that perspective and seeing it so clearly in my hometown, yeah, you need to be ready.
real, yeah.
You need to be ready. It's a real thing.
Gosh.
And it's just so glad that we have the people in place that we do, because I know they're doing that. And so I think I just bring that up just to reassure people. Yes.
Thank you.
As we're
Yeah.
hitting those, in December, you don't think as much about those things happening, but it can happen anytime. And now we're into the season where, oh my goodness, yes, it can happen as we start seeing the change in the seasons. But
Yeah.
we're making plans for it and making sure we're clear. Well, have you got anything else that you want to add on the way out here?
Real quick, our special needs baseball league.
Oh, fun.
Registration is back open for that. That started last year, and actually we're expecting like maybe 20 at most. If that, it was 40.
Yeah.
48, ranging from I think 6 to 60 something.
I mean,
it was amazing.
It was wonderful.
And I encourage you to get involved. Know somebody, tell them about registering, but also just come and watch. I guarantee your day will be made because, seeing those faces and seeing them just so happy and getting to do something that they, wanted to do and maybe thought that they weren't able to do or be a part of. It's very encouraging. So.
And is Springfield Baptist still doing the Betty program?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
So actually, it is free
Okay.
for all participants because of their partners. Churches are
Yeah.
really all partners with Springfield. We were just so thankful for all of them. But Springfield Baptist has made that registration free for all.
I love it. So it's free, and you can be a buddy. That's something I want to do. I haven't had the opportunity. I just haven't been able to work it into my schedule yet. But I'll get Terry in here.
Yeah.
I think we need to reach out. Terry, Hollywood, I need to talk to you.
Hollywood,
I
there
love.
we go.
I'm sorry. He goes, shut up. Hollywood. When's that movie coming out?
I don't know. I
Oh
need to check
yeah.
that out.
Well, we'll get Hollywood in here. He's gonna kill me, but he's so fun. I mean, if you don't know, our Parks and Recreation director, is that his title? Yeah. Parks and Recreation director, Terry. He got recruited to be the sheriff in this thing, and it's just so much fun. And we had another movie shot here. One of my students, Alex Maddox, just stays up to date on all the little movies going on. We had a movie shot here just last week before.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Do you?
I can't remember which one. We've
I
had
can't
so
remember.
many film
It's
projects.
crazy.
And just a heads up, there will
It's
be
so-
another film project in March. And more information will be coming up. But there will be some road closures with that one. So just
so
wanted
exciting.
to give some updates there.
It's so exciting. I got to Smokey Barnes. You stinker. He was the movie. Okay, I know this because I know somebody was in there. But he had a camera on his hat or something kind of hidden, and pretended like he was living up in this area and trying to get on the inside, trying to be a little covert, sneaky. I don't know if he ever put any of that up, but I got to get Jim in here and talk to him about that. It was so
I didn't know
funny.
that.
Oh yes,
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Smokey Barnes was out there trying to get the scoop. I heard all about that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But anyway, we have so much fun here in Springfield. Candace Tillman,
Thank you for having
our
me.
assistant city manager, thank you so much.
Thank
And you
you.
tell Ryan I said hello.
I will.
And we want the scoop on all these movies and this release, and you tell Hollywood, I'll be in touch.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you, Candace. And as we get ready to make our way out for One Street Over, I do want to remind you of our Bible reading today. If you are reading along with us with Bethlehem Baptist Church, you need to reach out to Rachel and get her to help you. She can send you an email that will give you the updates on all the things that we're reading. But today is the 22nd, so we're in Numbers 19 through 21, Numbers 19 through 21, and Psalms 46. Numbers 19 through 21 and Psalms 46. Some fascinating stuff in the early chapters of Numbers. I know some of it gets monotonous, but Rachel will help walk you through it with these emails. Reach out to Bethlehem Baptist and Rachel Culver, and you can be a part of that, and you can be a part of what we're doing here on One Street Over. Thank you for joining us this morning. This is 1100 WSGI. Stand by for the Go Show coming up, and I believe Deborah is going to be filling in for Miss Lee Marie, but they'll be with you in just a moment. Stay tuned. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless.